If you are asked tomorrow night if you give credit to President Trump for the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas and the return of the 20 living hostages, would you raise your hand?
You know, first I want to say it's a real pleasure to be here, and thank you for having me. And it's an honor to have this opportunity to speak to so many New Yorkers and Americans across the country. And when it comes to the ceasefire, I am thankful and I have hope that it will actually endure and that it will be lasting. And I continue to have concerns because I've seen reports still, just this in the last few days, that 5 Palestinians were killed by the Israeli military. And that's what gives me pause about issuing any kind of praise or celebration at a moment when it is still so in its infancy. And what I will tell you is that in that same moment, it is also one that requires a focus on ensuring that that hope, that belief in a better future is one that is emblematic in our policies right here in New York City as well. And that's what we're hoping to lead with.
So would you give President Trump credit or not, to any extent? Credit or not?
I think it's too early to do so.
Too early to say.
But if it proves to be something that is lasting, something that is durable, then I think that's where you give credit.
So you've denounced Israel and the United States for the response to the slaughter on October the 7th. In fact, at times you've called it a lasting stain, the response, and at times you have left October 7th out of your statements completely around this issue. Right now, you just talked about Israelis killing some Palestinians, but Hamas is killing Palestinians within Gaza. And they have not returned the bodies that they promised to return, including 2 Americans, Itai Chen and Omer Nutra, whose families we have interviewed over these months. So what is your response to what Hamas is doing now?
I think those are bodies and remains that should absolutely be returned, and I think that I have no issue with critiquing Hamas or the Israeli government because my critiques all come from a place of universal human rights. And my focus, however, is right here in New York City and transforming the most expensive city in America into one that's affordable for each and every New Yorker.
But, okay, I want to get to that, absolutely. But do you believe that Hamas should lay down their weapons and leave the leadership in Gaza?
I believe that any future here in New York City is one that we have to make sure that's affordable for all. And as it pertains to Israel and Palestine, that we have to ensure that there is peace. And that is the future that we have to fight for.
But you won't say that Hamas should lay down their arms and give up leadership in Gaza.
I don't really have opinions about the future of Hamas and Israel beyond the question of justice and safety and the fact that anything has to abide by international law. And that applies to Hamas, that applies to the Israeli military, applies to anyone you could ask me about.
Okay. One last thought on that. You have said that you would arrest Netanyahu if he came to the United States. You've been very outspoken in your criticism of him. Do you stand by that? You would arrest him if he came here, if you were mayor?
I've said that this is a city that believes in international law, and this is a city that wants to uplift and uphold those beliefs. The Prime Minister...
The United States doesn't stand by the International Criminal Court.
It hasn't signed the treaty for the International Criminal Court. The International Criminal Court, however, has issued a warrant for the arrest of Benjamin Netanyahu.
But what grounds in the United States could you arrest him on?
As it has for Vladimir Putin. I've said that I believe that we should uphold arrest warrants by the International Criminal Court, and that you should do so only in abiding with all of the laws in front of us. I'm not going to make a new law to ensure that we can actually do this.
Do you think that Commissioner Tisch would allow you to arrest Netanyahu in New York City?
I've appreciated Commissioner Tisch's leadership of the NYPD, and I think that she's done a good job at lowering crime across the city.
But do you think that she would go along with arresting Netanyahu in New York?
I can tell you that I'm going to exhaust every legal option in front of me, not to make new laws to do so.
That is mayoral candidate Zohran Mamdani being interviewed by Fox News. What kind of question is that? Why does a New York candidate for mayor need to answer questions about Hamas and Israel? I'm confused about that. This is not the first time they've done this. He always answers very good, very elegantly, very respectful, which I love. He makes it seem that I'm here for New York. I'm here for New York only. I'm not worried about what's going on over there. Well, he is worried, but in the same sense, he's not worried about it for his city. What he's here for today is to run for mayor, and that's it. And I agree with him on that. Why are they trying to press this? Like they're just trying to get him in a gotcha moment. These gotcha moments. Honestly, I'm not a fan of this guy at all. His policies are way too far left for me. But honestly, like I said earlier, and I said in an earlier video today, I want him to win the way they're attacking him. They want to catch this guy in a gotcha moment nonstop. They did a debate, and now they're doing it here in this interview. Like, why does I think the last time in the interview, they asked all the candidates, what will be the first trip you take out of the country? Like, what does that got to do with your mayor race? And everybody answered as Israel, Cuomo, and all these other guys. Oh, Israel, we're going to Israel. And this guy said, I'm not even thinking about that right now. I'm only thinking about the city of New York City. I like that. That's a good answer. Why are these people trying to appease a foreign country when you're running for mayor of New York City? Come on, man. Come on.
On Fox News today, Zohran Mamdani had a message for Donald Trump, who was probably watching. He looked directly into the camera and said this. It's worth a watch.
You know, I want to take this moment because you spoke about President Trump, and he may be watching right now. And I just want to speak directly to the president, which is that I will not be a mayor like Mayor Adams, who will call you to figure out how to stay out of jail. I won't be a disgraced governor like Andrew Cuomo, who will call you to ask how to win this election. I can do those things on my own. I will, however, be a mayor who is ready to speak at any time to lower the cost of living. That's the way that I'm going to lead this city. That's the partnership I want to build, not only with Washington, D.C., but anyone across this country. I think it's important because too often the focus on the needs of working class Americans, working class New Yorkers are put to the side as we talk more and more about the very kinds of corrupt politicians like Andrew Cuomo that delivered us into this kind of crisis.
That response right there is going to drive Donald Trump crazy because it's smart, it's well articulated, it's focused on the people, which are no qualities that Donald Trump has. And the difference between Democrats like Zohran Mamdani and Donald Trump is that Democrats are actually focused on bringing down the cost of living. It's not just something we talk about, it's something that Democrats are actively trying to do. Donald Trump used it as an issue to get into office, and so far things just keep going up in price.
I know that you're turning 34 on Saturday, and I want to talk about your qualifications. You know, some say you have never run a business in your life, so I'm curious.
Why is that a qualification for mayor? Andrew Cuomo's entire qualification was he was the son of a famous New York politician.
Experience to run the largest city in the country.
You know, I want to take this moment because you spoke about President Trump, and he may be watching right now, and I just want to speak directly to the president, which is that I will not be a mayor like Mayor Adams, who will call you to figure out how to stay out of jail. I won't be a disgraced governor like Andrew Cuomo, who will call you to ask how to win this election. I can do those things on my own. I will, however, be a mayor who is ready to speak at any time to lower the cost of living. That's the way that I'm going to lead this city. That's the partnership I want to build, not only with Washington, D.C., but anyone across this country. I think it's important because too often the focus on the needs of working class Americans, working class New Yorkers are put to the side as we talk more and more about the very kinds of corrupt politicians like Andrew Cuomo that delivered us into this kind of crisis. I've been a state assembly member here in New York City. I've represented 130,000 people in Queens, and in the time that I've done so, I've not only delivered more than $100 million in increased bus and subway service, I've also secured $500 million in debt relief for working class taxi drivers. President Trump knows this, New Yorkers know this across the 5 boroughs. Taxis, as we're looking at them right here, are such a part of what we love about this city, and yet those same drivers were sold a lie about a ticket to the middle class if they bought a medallion. I stood with those drivers. I organized with those drivers. I went on a 15-day hunger strike with those drivers, and we secured $500 million in debt relief that allows those drivers to do more than just think about struggle.
How many employees would you be overseeing in the New York City government?
More than 300,000.
This is left populism in action. Democrats, take notes. When you are constantly talking about the winning issues that you are going to focus on, affordability, fast and free buses, things that people can actually pay attention to, things that people want, things that people want to vote for you on, he just keeps going back to affordability and what he cares about, what he wants to actually fix. It turns out it's a major shield as well as a weapon to wield. It's a shield as well. It's a defensive shield. It's a parry. It's a riposte. You can use it. Remember that. You should be earnestly, constantly communicating about how you are going to improve people's fucking material circumstances.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mamdani was interviewed by Fox News, and one of the biggest topics that was handled was the one to do with the Israeli-Gaza conflict that has concluded after 2 years of fighting. So he was asked what he thought about the new ceasefire, whether he would credit President Trump, and also questions to do with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Hamas, and also the fate of those who were executed, especially the 2 American citizens that have just been mentioned, whether their bodies will be returned or not, and he offered his answers as you've already seen. So ladies and gentlemen, my question to you is, does Israel have anything to do with the affairs of New York? Is anyone seeking to become the mayor of New York City be given questions to answer about foreign affairs? Please let me know of what you think about that in the comment section below. Mamdani went ahead to trade blows with President Trump. As you've known, for the longest time, President Trump has been calling Mamdani a communist and also someone who has never started a business or held public office in his entire life. So Mamdani faced the camera directly and issued a strong message to President Trump, as you've already seen. And so we are yet to see how President Trump, the MAGA camp, and the Republican Party are going to respond to this. So ladies and gentlemen, also Mamdani said that he would fight for the affairs of the working class and stand up to the rich, political, and ruling class who seek to make laws that only favor them. So ladies and gentlemen, that has been it for our new development. I hope that you've enjoyed it, and I hope that you have gotten massive value for this video. If so, please don't forget to leave a like and don't forget to share the video. As always, I hope to see you in the next video. Cheers and peace.